Hi folks, it's Action Hero back for yet another video. It's again been a while between visits. I've been busy with a job that has not been very fun, but that's okay. I am back and today we're going to be doing a toy room tour. So I have a little room I like to call the DC room or the bonus room, which is essentially a room where I keep every single one of my action figures, and it's very large and immense, and I thought I would share a little bit of it with you today. I think the plan is that I'm going to do it in many parts. So today's going to be part one, but then like tomorrow or the next day will be part two and part three and so on. And I don't know how many parts there'll be, but quite a few because I have a lot of figures. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it here. So we'll start with this guy, and let me just we go to slideshow and we go to play from start. Okay, so yeah, so I got a new phone, and so believe it or not, the photo quality for these pictures is much better than it once was. Just a second, my dogs are barking, so we got to figure that out. But anyway, you could probably hear barking. But let's move on. So anyway, so this is my Dark Knight's Death Metal McFarlane Toys collection. And obviously it's not huge, it's three in number, but this is the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and they're all really nice figures. The Superman is probably my least favorite just because his face, I find his face to be pretty chubby, and I don't particularly love the design for the character anyway, or for the this iteration of the character. But you know, he's good to have in your collection. The Batman is somewhat of a custom. I swapped his head with the Jim Lee DC Collectibles head, and I really like how it looks. I didn't particularly love the head it came with. I mean, I liked it, but I decided to put on a different figure. The Wonder Woman figure is really nice. I like it a lot, and I hope to get the all gold one soon. But yeah, this is the sort of that collection. Not much to say about it. This, however, is a different story. I have a lot to say about this because this is my DC Direct Justice League of America Silver Age display, and I'm really fond of this display. It's basically a perfect representation of the Silver Age Justice League of America, except it's missing the Atom, which is somewhat annoying, but hopefully one day I will get the Atom. And the Atom I plan to get is this one, which is from DC Direct. Probably the best Ray Palmer Atom action figure ever made. And it comes with two mini Atoms, as you can see, as well as a regular sized Atom, which I don't really need a regular sized Atom, but I'll probably end up using the Atom in the chair because he was always sitting in a chair in the Silver Age. But anyway, but I still really love this display even without the Atom. The Superman is the DC Direct Super Friends Superman. And even though he is supposed to represent like the animation style of DC Direct, and I actually think or the animation style of Super Friends, and I think he does a really good job of that. I think he also fits in really well with like just the Silver Age display and looks like the Silver Age Superman. The Batman is from the Scarecrow Batman Color of Fear, I think it is, 2-pack, which was released in the mid to late 2000s, I want to say. And really nice Batman, really great representation of the Silver Age Batman. His belt might be just a little bit big, but still a really nice figure. And I love how it looks. I mean, it's basically a repaint of the Jim Lee Hush Batman, but they did a really nice job of it, just knocked it out of the park, and probably the best Silver Age Batman figure ever made. Well, actually, I take that back. The very early 2000s Silver Age Batman from DC Direct was probably a little bit better, but this one's very nice. And then we go to Aquaman, and this is the Aquaman from the 5-pack, the Justice League of America first appearance 5-pack that came with Green Lantern, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Martian Manhunter. And I really love this Aquaman, great Silver Age Aquaman. The yellow gloves are so as to like mimic his first appearance. However, I'm hoping to replace him with the other one that has green gloves because I love this figure, and so I kind of want to get the other one too, because there was an earlier release of this figure that came with Aqualad that had green gloves, which is obviously far more of of a standard look for Aquaman, and one that he had in the Silver Age for most of the Silver Age. So, but I still really love this figure, and I think he looks good with this collection. And then Green Lantern over there on the left, I absolutely love that figure. This was not the Green Lantern figure that came in the 5-pack. The Green Lantern figure that came in the 5-pack was atrocious, but this is actually the single carded Green Lantern, which was released in like the early 2000s by DC Direct. It's just a fantastic representation of Gil Kane's Green Lantern, which, if you don't know, Gil Kane was one of the co-creators of Hal Jordan in 1959, and modeled his appearance off of Paul Newman, which you can look up a young Paul Newman if you don't know what he looks like. Maybe you do know what he looks like. But anyway, I really love just how well it mimics Hal Jordan's appearance from the Silver Age. I mean, a darn near perfect figure, except maybe it's lacking a little bit of articulation. However, one thing I will say is when figures are lacking articulation, they often tend to be slightly more aesthetically pleasing because you don't have all the articulation that gets in the way of aesthetics. So it's just sort of a trade-off, right? Aesthetics for articulation sometimes. And so this figure looks really nice, just simple. And then that Wonder Woman also came in the 5-pack I was talking about, and she's really nice. Lacking a lot of articulation pretty much from the waist down. She's a statue, but and she requires a stand in order to stand. That's why she's the only figure on a stand. But anyway, but still a really nice looking figure, and she works really well with this group of Silver Age figures. That Flash also came in a 5-pack. He in the 5-pack. However, I have 2 of those Flashes. One of the Flashes came in the Kid Flash and Flash 2-pack from DC Direct in the early 2000s. And it's the exact same Flash. There's not even a repaint or anything. It's the exact same Flash, but I really like that Flash action figure. It's classic. The colors are bright and vibrant, and I'm a huge Flash fan, so that's important to me. It's important that he be accurate, and they just knocked it out of the park with that Flash figure. Moving up to the second row, Hawkman is maybe the one that stands out the most in this entire group. There has not been a Silver Age Hawkman made, at least not a Silver Age Hawkman with the wings on his helmet. There was a very early Joe Kubert Hawkman action figure made by DC Direct in the mid 2000s. But by the time Hawkman joined the Justice League, he had the wings on his helmet, so I can't use that Hawkman action figure, even though I do have that other Hawkman action figure. But this Hawkman action figure is a DC Direct from Identity Crisis. So Identity Crisis Hawkman, based on the art of Michael Turner. I don't know how well you can see it, but the paint on his head sculpt is a little bit strange. There's some like red and yellows, and I don't know, it looks a little weird. But overall, I do love this Hawkman figure. I think he looks really nice, and he fits in pretty darn well here. So I am happy with him, and I don't plan on replacing him. That Martian Manhunter is absolutely perfect. It's from the DC The New Frontier, DC Direct, late 2000s release, and it's just a fantastic figure. He's definitely modeled off of Darwin Cook's art from DC New Frontier, but he just fits in really, really well with all these other figures, as if he popped right out of the comic book page. He is, as far as I know, the only like Silver Age Martian Manhunter figure ever made. And now, granted, Martian Manhunter's costume has changed very little over the years, so pretty much the only thing that's changed from the Silver Age to now is that they changed the color of his trunks, and also, well, not to now, but put to like the modern age, was like they changed the color of his trunks and his collar got higher. But this is where he has a short collar and his trunks are still black. So it's very, very accurate to like the Silver Age. I think he looks really, really nice here. Great head sculpt, by the way. And Green Arrow is the history of the DC Universe Green Arrow from DC Direct. And I think he looks really, really nice. The history of the DC Universe action figures did have a major flaw in that their arms stuck out like way too far. So like if you look at him, he's sort of like this or sort of like this, and his arms can't go in any further. Like that's the furthest his arms can go in. And all the history of the DC Universe action figures were that way. But I still think he looks really nice. There was an early 2000s DC Direct Green Arrow that was made like along the same, like in the same series as that Aquaman or that Wonder Woman or that Flash. But I actually think this Green Arrow looks better. And so I don't actually plan on getting that Green Arrow. I might, just because I want to get Speedy, and Speedy comes in that 2-pack, but with Green Arrow, but I don't really feel like I need the Green Arrow for any reason. Moving onward. Oh, we already saw the Atom. So this is the bottom shelf. So the way I'm going here is that this is like the top shelf, and then you go one down, and you go one down, or sorry, not one down. Then you go one down. And anyway, it's hard to see because I've taken pictures instead of taking video, but I haven't found out a way to take video and make it look good yet. So anyway, so you have to stick with this. So this is my world's finest shelf. It's not the clearest picture, I'm sorry, but you can hopefully recognize all the figures here. The two on the left up front are DC Universe Classics. They're both sort of Dark Age versions of Superman and Batman. Superman is pretty much exactly the same as the standard Superman release, except he has a mullet. But I think he looks really nice. I think it's a good representation of the 90s Superman. And then the Batman figure is like the sort of the post-Nightfall Batman, which I think looks really, really great. And he comes with that sort of Keaton-esque bat technology thing that sits at his feet. A very striking Batman figure, I must say. And then the two in the back are McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman, or not Batman's, but multiverse figures. And the Batman is the Dark Knights Metal / DC Rebirth Batman. I do know that McFarlane Toys has released another Rebirth Batman that's a little bit more classic Rebirth. He doesn't have the sort of the battle damage that this figure does, but I actually like this figure better. His head sculpt leaves something to be desired, but I do like the figure and the sculpt overall. A really nice figure, very dynamic figure, like a very exciting figure to look at. And I'm also not a fan of like the new, I'm not a fan of the head sculpt on the new Batman DC Rebirth release. I just think the sort of the scruff on his face and on his neck looks a little weird, and I don't plan on getting that figure. Also, I'm a Batman fan, but I'm not like a huge Batman fan. Like, Batman's not one of my top 5 favorite characters, and so I don't feel like I need to get like every single Batman figure ever made. I can understand if like Batman is your favorite character, then yeah, you're gonna buy every single Batman figure ever made, and that's great. Like, if like Hal Jordan's my favorite character, so I'm gonna buy every single Green Lantern Hal Jordan action figure ever made. That's just what I'm going to do. But and so I can certainly understand that. But for somebody who's like not like a devout Batman fan, like I love Batman, I'm going to buy Batman figures. But for somebody who's not like a devout Batman fan, sometimes it aggravates me when McFarlane puts out so many Batman figures. I mean, I know they sell well, but it's just like, I just wish they would shop around a little bit, right? And understand that not everybody's favorite character is Batman. On the other hand, if it keeps McFarlane Toys afloat to do that, I would much rather have them put out, a few too many Batman figures than like go under. Although I don't think they're at risk of going under anytime soon. And then that Superman figure, I love that Superman figure in the back. That's the DC Rebirth Superman. And McFarlane Toys did a really nice job with that. I know a lot of people didn't like the DC Rebirth Superman suit, meaning the first DC Rebirth Superman suit, but it's one of my favorite Superman suit ever. I like the dark blue. I like the belt design. I just love that suit. It's just clean. It's simple. It doesn't really need anything else. I really love that Superman. And even though that Superman is pretty much just a re-release of the first Superman McFarlane Toys put out with some minor sculpting changes and paint changes, I think it looks really, really nice. So that was definitely a must buy for me. And then on the right, we have the DC superheroes, Batman and Superman from Mattel. The Batman looks really nice. The belt is sculpted to the 9s, which I absolutely adore. There's a lot of nice shading throughout the Batman. The Mattel did re-release this Batman in a black version that looks even better than this one. But like I said, I'm not like I don't need to buy every single Batman figure ever made. And I'm pretty content with just having this guy in the blue. Plus, the black one is getting really expensive these days. If I could find the black one for a reasonable price, like around $30, I'd probably buy it. But as it is, I'm happy with this one. I don't plan on spending an exorbitant amount of money on the black one. And I think these two figures look pretty good together. The Superman I really like a lot, especially the head sculpt. He's definitely like beefier than the standard DC Universe Classic Superman. Yeah, I like him a lot. The blue is a little more muted. The blue and the red are both a little bit more muted than I would like, and I would love to have seen this figure like in brighter colors. Like I wish they would have like released him in brighter colors too. But I like him. I like him a lot how he is too. And then moving onward, we have the what are these? The Spin Master? No, I think the Spin Master. Yeah, I think these are the Spin Master Batman Unlimited series. It might not, I might be wrong. It might not be by Spin Master. It might be by like Mattel or something. But it's either way, it's the Batman Unlimited series. And I got these for a really good price as a bundle. I got all these together, and I think I got them for something like $40 for all 5 of these. And some of these are like actually pretty expensive these days. Like that Green Lantern's pretty expensive. The rest of them are pretty affordable, but the Green Lantern's really expensive, and that's the main one I wanted since Hal Jordan's my favorite character in the entire DC universe. So I had to have that figure, and I was like, well, hey, I could buy them and get 4 other ones too, and hey, I did it. And I was a little disappointed when they came because they have some paint scuff. Like Batman, you can see around his symbol, there's a little bit of paint scuff on his symbol, and it's not there's no like major paint scuff, but it's just a little bit, and it's a little aggravating. But I was able to paint over some. Like Superman had a lot of paint scuff on his hair, but I just painted over it, so now it looks like it's like mint out of the package pretty much. And Green Lantern was in pretty good shape, so I was happy with that. And I think these guys look pretty good together. The Batman sticks out a little bit since he's like the Batman Unlimited Batman instead of like the standard Batman, the standard like New 52 Batman, and everybody else here is in the New 52 suit. But you know, it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with it.